Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that everybody is having an awesome week so far and ready to learn for this IELTS lesson. We are focusing on IELTS reading section. Specifically, we will look at a passage about a wedding tradition in a country. And the reading section, of course, has 3 passages for the academic IELTS, and it has 3 sections for the general IELTS. The third section of the general IELTS is very similar to the academic reading passages, and so we are looking at this passage from our academic sample exams, and of course it will be excellent learning for everybody. You will learn strategies for different kinds of questions, you will learn new vocabulary, and you will get a chance to practice your reading. Welcome Carolina, our chat moderator. Nice to see you in the class. Hi Baljit, good to see our members joining in. Welcome Chayankip, Gashemi. This is a subscribers chat class, so if you'd like to join the chat, make sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell, the notification, so you know when these live classes are happening. This lesson, this material is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there. For general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have lots of information for you, practice exams, strategies, and videos, much more. This is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background. We will use this today to practice our reading. So it's a great idea to join our premium package. You click this big red button right there, just above my head, to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, and we are a certified IDP and British Council test registration center. We are certified British Council agents, so you are in excellent hands with us getting ready for your test. Nice to see so many of you joining in on the class. For the for the general IELTS, visit us here. It's gieltshelp.com with the green background. Again, click this big red button to join our premium package there. Of course, we have apps that you can use as well. Our apps are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. Those apps will link to the website, so make sure to use those. And on the websites, not on the apps, but on the websites, you can use this code today, practice9, for a 20% discount off of our premium package. So when you're in the checkout form, just click use discount code and then type in practice9 to get that 20% savings. Again, it doesn't cost a lot of money, and it is excellent for your IELTS preparation. So make sure to use it. If you end up with some questions about the IELTS exam or about our products, don't worry, we're here to help. Just send us an email to adrian@aehelp.com. That's my name, adrian@aehelp.com, and we will gladly answer questions about English, about IELTS, or our websites, our apps. So definitely don't hesitate to send us your inquiries. Students, our schedule, you can get our schedule by joining us on our Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp or gieltshelp. Of course, you can see our live stream schedules for this YouTube channel on the channel. So again, make sure to subscribe when you get a moment. We will have another class after this one. That class will be speaking part 2, where everybody will be able to join, and then speaking part 3. And again, this class right now, it's not just for members, it's also for subscribers, although I'll keep a special eye out for our members during the reading part. subscribers class. So definitely subscribe to the channel. You can always watch our latest HD video releases on the channel when we're not doing these live classes. We've got a good one for you that we released just the other week. I put the link into the chat, so check that out if you are available and you have a bit of time. Okay, everybody, so without further ado, let's get into today's reading. This is a new reading passage for today, and this is coming from one of our newer exams that is in production. Baljit, I see that you have a question about reading, and I'm happy to answer questions about the IELTS reading section. So you can go ahead and put those into the chat. I will answer them as I see them while we're going through this reading passage. This reading passage is the exact same level of difficulty as what you can see in the IELTS exam. When we create these exams, we match the exam with the difficulty of the real IELTS exam. That's important to remember, especially when you're studying the reading listening section. There are a lot of materials online that tend to be a bit easier than the real IELTS, so be careful what kind of materials you are learning from so you're not surprised during the IELTS exam. Yash, multiple choice questions. I think we have some of those today. Yash is asking, how do we solve multiple choice questions? And we have a few of those here at the end. So 36 to 40, we have some multiple choice, and I will show you the strategy to solve those ones as well as we go along. Okay, let's go step by step. So when you are sitting doing the reading section, your very first step always when you see a passage is to look at the title of the passage and then read it. So Tapestry of Lives, let's do this. So this is again reading, so make sure to read, okay? Don't just listen to me, but read with me as well. And if you have the chance, students, read aloud so you can hear yourself, okay? Aloud reading is very important. That means you're reading not just inside of your head, but you're actually verbalizing, you're reading nice and loud. It's very effective because you're using the muscles of your face, your tongue, you're listening to yourself, and it's much more effective than just reading quietly. So you should read aloud as much as possible. So throughout this lesson, be sure to read aloud, okay? All right. So Tapestry of Lives, the Kyrgyz Tush Kiz, whatever that means, right? So I am not familiar with this term. I can tell you that it's not English. It's some kind of a foreign term or word or name. And I'm not too worried about that right now, okay? In the IELTS exam, especially for section 3 of the general or passage 3, the reading is more difficult. So in the IELTS exam, the reading passages get more and more difficult as you go along, okay? Usually the first reading is the easiest and the last reading is the most difficult. And this is a section 3 or a passage 3. So this is going to be kind of the most challenging reading passage in this test. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible, and it doesn't mean that you can't get a good score. You can definitely get a good score as long as you stay calm and stick to strategy and you know what you are doing, okay? So here we observe the title, okay? First of all, we look at this Tapestry of Lives, all right? So let's try to figure out what that means. Anybody know the meaning of tapestry? So what does the word tapestry mean? It's a kind of an old English word, and it's a type of object. I'll give you a hint. Anybody know what tapestry means? Okay, what is that? So what do you think tapestry means? It's not a pastry, Chayan Kip. Sanjay says it's the tip of painting, I think. You're kind of on the right track, Sanjay. Baljit says Mother Google knows it. Yes, and other people know it too, Baljit. But Calvin Yu says it's artwork on cloth. Very good. Yeah, it's kind of like a painting that's made of cloth. So a tapestry is a cloth artwork. Okay, kind of like a painting on cloth, okay, that you hang on your wall. So then, good. Hopefully we get this information. If we don't, that's fine. Even if you don't understand this during the IELTS test, you're still okay. Don't panic. There will be more steps that will help you to understand this information. But for right now, tapestry is a cloth that's kind of like a painting. It has images on it. And it's tapestry of lives. Now, obviously, something like this would have a lot of work involved, so a lot of effort to create tapestry. And it's obviously some kind of special type of tapestry. So you should know that when you see this semicolon, it means that this second half, so this piece here, is kind of like a definition or an explanation of whatever comes before it. Okay, so what I'm saying basically is, even though I don't know this word because it's a foreign word, it is somehow connected to this concept here, the tapestry of lives. Okay, it's very important that you understand the use of punctuation in English. Understanding punctuation in English can really help you to understand content. Okay, everybody clear on that? Can I get a couple of thumbs up if you understood what I said there? So once again, just briefly, when you see this kind of a colon, okay, it means that this part here, whatever's here, is connected or a definition of that part there. Okay, all right. Sanjay says thumbs up. Jose says sure. Carolina says okay. All right, so now I know that I'm going to be reading about a special kind of tapestry. It's the Kyrgyz tush kiz. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce that correctly, but again, in the IELTS, don't worry about pronouncing words in the reading perfectly. It's not important. What's important is that you answer the questions correctly, right? So, all right, so step one, I read the title, okay, and then step two, to get some more information, I look at the questions. All right. So here I have my first set of questions. It says choose no more than one word from the passage. So I have to pick out one word from the passage to answer the questions. Okay, and this type of question, it's good for me to read it before the passage because all of this information that I have here, so all this information is somewhere in the passage. and so this will give me some more ideas about the passage before I read it. Now, I'm not worrying about understanding it perfectly. I'm not worrying about guessing answers. The only step that I take here is I quickly, smoothly read these questions to get a better idea of what this tapestry of lives could be about. Okay, so let's do that now. Okay, so everybody read with me as I read these. Okay, so question 28. All right, here we go. Nations and cultures around the world have something that are carried out at weddings, such as the breaking of the glass at Jewish ceremonies. Okay. Translated as edges of felt, the tushkiz is generally made by hand and hung on something. Okay. A symbol of pride among the Kyrgyz people, tushkiz are very something, objects, as they reflect particular interests of the couple and what is meaningful to them. Okay, so just reading 28, 29, 30, I start to get a little bit of an idea of what this passage will include. Definitely some kind of celebrations, traditional objects, weddings. Okay, so those are the words that I start to collect or see in my head. So I start to think about, okay, this passage will have information about traditions, weddings, okay, ceremonies, objects. All right, so it will have those pieces of information in there. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep reading these questions. 31. Another interesting aspect of the tush kiz is that its symbolism can also reflect something important, such as when they include symbolism associated with the cotton industry. For decades, the inclusion of the Soviet hammer and sickle symbol was commonplace on tush kiz. This showed the couples something for the Soviet rulers. Okay, so a little bit of 20th century history, Soviet Union coming into the picture. The chimildik is a special area inside the yurt which is hidden behind a something and in front of the tush kiz. Okay. In addition to its usage as the backdrop for the wedding ceremony, the tush kiz also represents a portion of the something brought to the bond by the woman. Commonly orange and red in color, the tush kiz also include patterns on the inside of the tapestry that are something in their detail. Okay, so it's definitely about this tapestry. It's an important object. This object is connected to ceremonies, and it also reflects history. Okay, so traditions, weddings, ceremonies, specifically the tush kiz. I don't even know how to spell that. I-Z there. The tush kiz, which reflects family and history, importance. Okay, so I got this much from reading these questions. Now, of course, in the real IELTS exam, this is happening very, very quickly. So you read the title, you think about, okay, what is this? Why is this? How is this? And then when you read the questions, you read them nice and fast, and you think about these details. Now, students, before we get ahead of ourselves, I know that many of you are thinking this and you're like, well, we only have 20 minutes to answer the reading passage. And I know that you have 20 minutes, and 20 minutes does not seem like a lot of time. It's exactly because 20 minutes seems like a short time that you have to use good strategy, okay? Just skimming and scanning and searching for answers, you run out of time, all right? 20 minutes is not enough to mix and match answers between the questions and the passage. So you have to use good strategy, and for those high band scores, so for scoring a band 7 or 8 or 9, those highest band scores, you do have to read and you have to understand mostly what you're reading. Okay, all right, so let's take a look at other questions as well. Okay, multiple choice. This is the one that you were thinking about, right? So let's take a look at multiple choice. Number 36. How many sides? Okay, so before I get ahead of myself, so multiple choice strategy. Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. Okay. So multiple choice question strategy. Okay, first of all, so we'll definitely get to these questions today and we'll answer them together. Okay. So the first step with multiple choice is that when you're in the reading passage, before you read, only read the questions. Okay. I mean, do not read the answers, because most of them are wrong and confusing. So it is a waste of time, and it can actually lead you to lower scores because you're confused by the answers. Okay, so we only read the questions. All right. Okay. So let's look at number 36. All right, now I can see quite a bit of chatter in the chat. Students, one really important tip for practicing for the reading section, as well as when you do the reading section, is make sure you stay focused, concentrate on what you're doing, okay? It's very important. You have to be able to concentrate. In some way, the IELTS reading section is also testing your ability to focus and concentrate on the information without thinking about your latest Instagram post or what you had for breakfast or what movie you're going to watch tonight. So you have to focus, okay? It's 1 hour in the reading of intense focus. Okay, so let's stay focused here. How many sides of the tush kiz lack a border? Okay, so in this question, I can figure out that, okay, this tush kiz is kind of like a painting, right? So it's like this. It's going to have 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. And a border means it's going to have something around it, like this, okay? And I'm guessing that there is no border on some of these sides. I don't know how many, but I'm sure we'll find out, okay? All right, so again, I'm explaining this, but of course in the real exam, this is in my head. I'm visualizing this because in the reading, it's very important to see the information. This is a very visual information that we're reading here, so you have to really see it. And then the next question is, what is the main point of the tush kiz? So what is the purpose, right? So what's the main point? What does the tush kiz represent? All right, and I'm sure some people in some of the former Soviet regions, like Uzbekistan, for example, or Kazakhstan, will have an advantage here because they probably know a little bit more about what the tush kiz might be. All right, why aren't tush kiz often sold? All right, and today, where is the cultural practice of the tush kiz most common? All right, so we're looking at these multiple choice questions. And when you're looking at these multiple choice questions, think about them as statements, okay? So when you read how many sides of the tush kiz lack border, we can paraphrase this. So we can think about this as a statement and we can say it in another way. So for example, when I'm thinking about this in the IELTS exam and I'm reading this, in the reading, I think that this will come up something like this. The number of sides does not have a border. Okay. So in the reading, it's probably not going to be a question. It's going to be a statement, and it's going to write, this number of sides does not have a border, do not have borders. Okay? Something like that. For number 37 in the reading, so number 37 is, what is the main point of the tush kiz? How do you think the author might write about this? So how do you think the author might write this in the actual reading passage? What is the main point of the tush kiz? So what I'm doing here is I'm basically paraphrasing the question into a statement. So give me Give me a statement that paraphrases this question, and this is another step to the strategy of multiple choice questions, okay? All right, so number 2, in multiple choice questions, think about the questions as statements. Paraphrase these. Because in both the reading and listening sections, questions or multiple choice questions, we can say, are usually paraphrased statements. Okay, does that make sense, everybody, what I'm saying there? That's very important, because when you kind of train your brain to think this way, you will see the answers much easier in the text, or in the listening section for the multiple choice, you will hear them a lot better, okay? All right, Unboxing Masala says the lead purpose of the tush kiz is absolutely the lead, or a little bit more natural English. Unboxing Masala is the main purpose, right? So the main purpose of the tush kiz is ... So yeah, that's probably how we're going to see it. Very good, nice. Unboxing Masala, that was good. Okay. What does the tush kiz represent? Okay, how do you think you're going to see that one in the reading? Something like the tush kiz mostly shows something, right? Yeah, Gurpreet, exactly, shows. Now, Gurpreet, make sure that you're thinking in full sentences. Okay, so full sentences. The tush kiz mostly shows, all right? Why aren't tush kiz often sold? In the reading, we will probably see this as the tush kiz can rarely be purchased. Because, for example, right, that's another way to say they aren't often sold. The tush kiz can rarely be purchased because. Okay, so looking at it from another way. All right, so think about the paraphrasing. Very important. Okay, very, very important. Now, this is a physical object. We're talking about a cloth that's kind of like a painting. So it's very visual. Okay, make sure to visualize, right? See the picture, see the images that we're reading about. Okay. All right, everybody. So let's do this. Let's read. Let's read this together. Okay, we're going to do one run through together. We're going to do one reading together, and then I will give some students a chance to read, and we'll talk about the text, and then we'll get to answering these questions. So get ready, everybody. We're going to read here. Okay, follow with me. Now, I know the print is a little bit small. Let me see if I can help you out here a bit. It'll become larger, but I think it'll be easier for many of you, especially for those of you that are on mobile phones. So let's do this. Okay. All right, and I think this will help you to read with me a little bit. Okay. Is that better, everybody? Can you see it better? I'm guessing people that are using mobile phones will say, hey, yeah, that's a lot easier on my eyes. I can see that better now. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, when you're reading, make sure that you do as much as you can to make it a little bit easier. All right. Okay. Giant Kip says much better. All right. Okay. So then let's do this. Read with me. Okay. Students, if you ever have questions or you say, hey, Adrian, the text is too small, let me know. We live in the age of technology. I can help with that. Okay. All right, here we go. So when you read from the top, remember to visualize. So we should picture this Kyrgyz tush kiz. Okay. Kyrgyz, of course, is from Kyrgyzstan, I believe. Okay. So here we go. Let's read. Cultures around the world have wedding customs, both modern and traditional. These can be actions such as the breaking of glass at Jewish ceremonies or the sawing of a log at German weddings. Customs can also be gifts, such as the Fijian custom of the groom presenting the bride's father with a sperm whale's tooth. In the Central Asian nation of Kyrgyzstan, one important custom is the gift of the traditional tush kiz. Let's keep reading, students, so just follow with me, just read with me, okay? Tush kiz, literally translated as edges of felt, are elaborate wall hangings or tapestries. They are made by hand by the bride's mother and grandmother and often take many months or even years to make. They are given to the newly married couple as a symbol of their union and as a symbol of their pride in Kyrgyz history and tradition. Okay. Tush kiz are deeply personal. While in the past these tapestries reflected general social interests in the form of ancient themes such as religious and cultural symbolism, in the 20th century the custom moved towards incorporating the particular interest of the couple and what was meaningful to them. However, cultural symbolism is still common. For example, imagery associated with the cotton industry is a common theme in 20th century tush kiz because the cotton industry was of such immense economic importance, it had taken on cultural importance as well. Tush kiz, especially during the Soviet period, were also opportunities to demonstrate one's support for the Soviet regime in Moscow. Oftentimes, tush kiz of the period would include communist symbolisms such as the hammer and sickle, which adorn the Soviet flag. They may also have celebrated Kyrgyz contributions to the Soviet Union, such as the region's role in the Federation's space program of the 1950s and 1960s. These elegant tapestries are more than just a wedding gift. They also play an important role in the Kyrgyz wedding ceremony. The bride on the wedding day sits in a chimlidik or curtained off area inside a special yurt in front of the tush kiz, embroidered by her loved ones. The tush kiz acts as the backdrop to the wedding ceremony, symbolizing the union of two individuals as well as two families. Furthermore, it constitutes part of the dowry the bride brings to the marriage, and after the wedding it takes a special place in the yurt house of the newly married couple. The tush kiz themselves are quite large. In general, they measure approximately 6 feet tall by 12 feet wide, or about 2 meters tall by 3 meters wide. Notably, they are almost always highlighted by orange or red tones, including the outer edge, which is generally a solid color, as opposed to the diverse color palette and intricate pattern details of the interior of the tapestry. One interesting aspect of the tush kiz is that the outer border traces only 3 of the 4 sides of the fabric. The bottom side is borderless. The reason for this is based in the tapestry's ceremonial aspect. The tush kiz is not primarily a piece of art, though it is certainly beautiful and worthy of aesthetic appreciation. Rather, its primary purpose is as a framing of the bride and then the married couple. That is, the body and especially the head of the bride and eventually the groom are an integral part of the tushkiz. The fabric itself acts as the cultural foundation for the couple. It is literally and figuratively their background. It is where they come from and who they are. And yet they sit facing outwards from the tapestry as if their background does not define their future. Due to their personal nature, tushkiz are not often bought and sold. Instead, they take on the role of family heirloom, something to be treasured. Sadly, it seems in recent years that the tradition of the tushkiz is falling out of practice in Kyrgyzstan. The effects of globalization and urbanization have eroded the impact of traditional cultural practices. Today, the tradition of tushkiz is continued primarily in the ever-shrinking rural communities of Kyrgyzstan. While big cities may offer economic prosperity, it is also important to remember where one comes from. If we only look forward, we miss the rich cultural tapestry lying behind us, figuratively or literally. Okay, so good. We read that. Now we're ready to answer questions. But students, really good practice, of course, when you're doing your IELTS preparation is to read the article twice, 3 times, 4 times, even, or I should say, especially if you did not understand it the first time, or if you had difficulty visualizing it, if you had difficulty following with the information. When you're preparing for the IELTS, you should read it more than once just so you have clarity, okay? And I'm going to do that with you now. So I'm going to reach out to students and we will read this again together. And while we read this, we will talk a little bit about the content and then we will answer the questions, okay? So I will be taking some volunteers for reading, and this will give everybody a second chance to read with your fellow students, okay? To volunteer for reading, we are going to use our website, aehelp.com. And in your My Student account, you will have a student partner speaking button. We use this for the speaking section as well. Make sure that you turn on the microphone and you enable your speaker and microphone in your browser. Let me show you how to do this, okay? Subscribers, members, check this out. This will be fun. This will be interactive. Let's get to it. So here is, again, our Academic IELTS website. You can join the website by clicking this big red button there, okay? It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, so it doesn't cost a lot. We're an IDP British Council partner, test registration center. You're in great hands with us. We are literally world leaders when it comes to online IELTS learning. Maybe more students learn IELTS with us online than anywhere else. So check us out, join there, and then when you join, you have a My Student account. You can try this for free by clicking that green button as well, okay? And then when you're in your My Student account, you will see computer-based practice exams, full online interactive course. You're going to see practice exams that you can print, PDF. There's lots of them. You're going to see lesson videos for every section of the IELTS exam, audio CDs that you can listen to. But right now, we are focusing on this part here. It's the student partner speaking. We click on that button that's just right above my head there. And you accept that you will be polite and professional when you're using this service. And then you get into this page here where you can interact. We have Renusha, Brijesh, Shubham, Jose, Sunantha in here. And I'm sure we'll have more people joining soon. And then you see this envelope here, okay? it's a blue envelope. You will see my name as master, like that. And just click on the blue envelope beside my name and then send me a message. Say, I want to volunteer, or I would like to read. And then I will let you read, and we'll talk a little bit about what you read. Okay, so send me a message. I'm looking for those pings, those messages. Okay, and as soon as I see that, I'm going to see a little number come up beside your name that you want to read, and then we can start. So again, go to aehelp.com. Join by clicking the red button or the green button. The green button lets you try this for free. The free version of our course, by the way, students, has lots of help and information for you as well. Okay, so all right. Let's start with Baljeet today. Baljeet, I know you didn't get a chance to interact yesterday, so are you ready? And I see volunteers now. That's fantastic. Okay. I'm looking up because I have, somebody's asking, why am I looking up? I have multiple screens so I can see what's going on. That's why I'm looking up. Okay. All right, Baljeet.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Baljeet. How are you?
I'm fantastic, sir. How are you?
I'm fantastic too. Thanks for asking. All right, Baljeet, are you ready to read a little bit?
Yeah, sure, sir. I'm ready as I'll ever be.
All right, that's a good way to be. You are prepared. Okay, so I've brought up the reading. So you're going to read the title and the first paragraph. Whenever you're ready, start with Tapestry of Lives.
Okay, sir. Tapestry of Lives. The Kyrgyz, Tushkiz cultures around the world have wedding customs, both modern and traditional. These may be actions such as the breaking of glass at Jewish ceremonies or the sawing of a log at German weddings. Custom can also be gift, such as the Fijian custom of the groom presenting the bride's father with the sperm whale's tooth. In the Central Asian nation of Kyrgyzstan, one important custom is the gift of the traditional tushkiz.
Good. So obviously, Baljeet, this is the introduction, right? It's the introductory paragraph, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, so it introduces the kind of main idea of this passage, or the concept of this passage. What is that? So what's in one simple sentence, what are we going to be looking at in this passage? So what is the idea of this passage?
I think the main idea of this passage is uh, the tradition or modern tradition and old traditions, and it also discussed about two or three.
You're on the right track, Baljeet. Now, simplify, right? So when you have this question like, what is this paragraph about? Then really simplify that. So try to answer that question in as few of words as possible. So can you try to answer that for me one more time, but just in a lot less words? So what is this paragraph about in a very simple sentence?
It is about marriage traditions.
Thank you. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Marriage customs or wedding customs, right? Wedding is a little bit better to say. So it's about wedding customs, old and new, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. And what's the thesis statement of this introduction? The thesis statement. Now, Baljeet's very smart. He's been in these classes lots, so Baljeet knows that the thesis statement usually is the last sentence in the introductory
Yes.
paragraph. And it's a very important sentence, right, Baljeet?
Yes, sir.
Why is the thesis so important, Baljeet?
Because sir, The writer will discuss this in further paragraphs.
Exactly. So it's basically what he will discuss in further paragraphs. So what's the thesis statement of this introduction?
It's a traditional Tashkes.
Yeah, so the full sentence would be: in the Central Asian nation of Kyrgyzstan, one important custom is
Yes,
the gift of the traditional tashkiz. Exactly, right? So we know that this will be the focus of this passage. So, students, it's a very important tip for everybody. When you're reading an IELTS passage, pay special attention to the thesis statement. Make sure that you understand it. If you don't, then read it 2 or 3 times, because that will help you to focus on what you're actually reading about for most of this passage, right? So don't just skip it or ignore it and, oh, whatever, I don't understand it. If you don't understand
yes,
it, you're in trouble, right, Baljeet?
yes, sir.
Okay, good. All right, Baljeet, thank you for volunteering for the first paragraph, and hang in there, because once we're finished all of this, we'll answer the questions, okay?
Okay, sir, sure.
All right, thanks for volunteering, Baljeet.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye. All right, that was Baljeet. Very smart student, working very hard and improving information acquisition, communication, English by regularly being in these classes. That's awesome. Okay, Brajesh, are you ready to read a little bit? So make sure that you're reading with your fellow students, okay? This is a chance for you to read with your fellow students. Zarina, you're right. The thesis statement guides the whole story. And Carolina, thank you for giving a thumbs up. All right, here we go. Brajesh.
Hello.
Hi, Brajesh.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, sir.
All right. Brajesh, are you ready to read a little bit?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
All right. So, Brajesh, whenever you're ready, start reading from Tush Kiz, literally translated as.
Okay, sir. Okay, I'm ready. Shall I read now?
Go ahead.
Okay. Tusk is literally translated as edges of felt, are elaborated wall hangings or tapestries. They are made by hand by the bride's mother or grandmother, and often take many months or even years to make. They are given to the newly married couples as a symbol of the union and as a symbol of their pride in Kyrgyz history and tradition.
Very nice. Okay. So, by the way, viewers, Baljeet and Brajesh, the speed that they're reading is absolutely enough to finish the passage and answer all the questions in 20 minutes, as long as you understand what you're reading. So, Brajesh, that's perfect. You don't need to read faster. You don't need to read slower. That speed is perfectly fine to finish this in 20 minutes, okay?
Yes.
Right. Brajesh, what's the main point of this paragraph?
It explains how the thing is made, how the Tuskis is made.
Not just how it's made, but what it is, right? Yeah, I agree with you. It focuses a lot on how it's made. So how it's made and what it is, right? So Tushkis, how it's made, what it is. Okay, good. When you read this, hopefully you actually see the grandmother and the mother of the bride working really hard for a long time to make this beautiful tapestry, right? Do you kind of see that picture in your head? Do you see the grandmother and the mother working really hard? Okay, good.
Made by the hand, yeah.
Yeah, and you should see that, right? Because you want to hold that information in your head for when you get to the questions. Okay, I'll get you to read one more paragraph here. So go with Tush Kiz are deeply personal.
Okay, sir. Tuskis are deeply personal. While in the past, these tapestries reflected general social interest in form of ancient themes such as religious and cultural symbolism. In the 20th century, the custom moved towards incorporating the particular interests of the couple and was meaningful to them. However, cultural symbolism is still common. For example, imagery associated with the cotton industry is common theme in the 20th century Tuskis because the cotton industry was of such immense economic importance. It had taken on cultural importance as well.
Very nice. What is this paragraph about?
It's about the how it went into the industry, the cotton industry.
That's just an example. So that's just an example of what can be on the tush kiz. So that's not the right answer. Keep it simple. What is this? What is this tush kiz? So what is this paragraph about? So the paragraph that you read
It's a
before, it's
culture.
how it's made, and this one is more about.
The importance of Tuskis.
Not really. Let's see if anybody in the chat can help. So let's open it up for everybody else. What do you think, students? So what is this paragraph about? It's very important that you understand each paragraph's main idea. Brajesh, because if you
Yes, sir.
don't, then it's kind of missed information. You won't be able to find information in the paragraph, etc.
Yes, sir.
If you're doing IELTS in a classroom or if you're learning it with a study partner, Brajesh, one really good practice is to read a paragraph like this with your study partner and then ask each other, like, what do you think this paragraph is about? Like, imagine I'm your study partner and you ask me what it's about. And I tell you, but you disagree. You're like, no, it's not, Adrian. I think it's about something else, right? Then you have to have the
Understood.
same idea, okay?
Yes, sir.
If we look at the chat, then Black Star says it's cultural symbolism and revolution. Zarina says social representation. So we're getting a lot of different answers, okay? So here, if you asked me what it's about, I would tell you that it is about the contents.
Contents. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Of the tush kiz, right? So what actually goes on it? So what does the grandmother and the mother actually put into this tapestry? What are the images? What are the pictures that they represent? The cotton industry is one example. So when we look at tush kiz that were made in the last 100 years, we will probably see pictures or images of people working in the cotton field or with the cotton gin. Okay, so this is actually the content of it. So very important point here, Brajesh, is
Yes, sir.
you have to understand the main idea. If you don't, you have to stop and look at it again carefully. Okay?
Sure, sir.
All right.
Understood.
On the other hand, very nice reading. So, Brajesh, your reading fluency, the speed of your reading is wonderful. Your pronunciation is wonderful. So focus a lot on improving your ability to understand the content of the paragraph, okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right,
Thank
keep it up. Thank you for volunteering.
Yeah.
All right, that was Brajesh. Give Brajesh a thumbs up. I see that Sanantha is volunteering as well. Sanantha, are you ready? Very smart of you, Sanantha, to keep coming back to the live classes and volunteering. And I see that Cicerani is in here volunteering as well, so hang in there. We're going to do some more reading. Sanantha, if you're ready, give me a sign. Give me a yes or a yep or ready as I'll ever be, and then we'll get reading, okay? Thank you for the thumbs up, by the way, students, for Brajesh in the chat. I know it's quite, challenging to put yourself out there and read. All right. Sanantha, here we go. Hi, Sanantha.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hi. Watching your video.
Not what are you doing? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
All
How are
right. Good. Thank you. I'm glad you're watching the video, though. That's good. All right. Sanantha, so are you ready to read?
Yes.
All right. So whenever you're ready, start with the tush kiz.
Okay. Okay. Those kids, especially during the Soviet period, were also opportunities to demonstrate one's support for the Soviet regime. In Moscow, often terms Tuskis of the period would include communist symbolism, such as the hammer and sickle, which adorns the Soviet flag. They may also have celebrated. I cannot spell these words.
It doesn't matter. Kyrgyz.
Kyrgyz. contributions to Soviet Union, such as the region's rule in the Federation's space program of 1950 and 1960.
Very
These
nice. Oh, nope, stop. That's a new paragraph. So before you jump to that paragraph, let's talk about this one for a second. So this paragraph that you just read, what is that about?
It's about Soviets, about the
Keep it simple. It's still about the Tushkiz, right? So what
the
about
Tushkiz.
what about the Tushkiz in this paragraph?
Is the it's about the Italy latest communist. It's like it's like the size of.
It's a specific example of the Tushkiz from the 20th century, right? So in the previous paragraph that Brajesh was reading about here, Brajesh was reading about the symbolisms and the images, so the content of the Tushkiz. And it said that the Tushkiz usually shows the history or the culture of the time, right? And then it gives this short example of the cotton industry. Cotton is is the clothing, right? The material for clothing. It's the plant. And then here it gives a very specific example of what the Tushkiz had for contents during the 20th century. So the Tushkiz is this piece of fabric, right, that looks like this. Okay, and during the last 100 years, because Kyrgyzstan was under communist control, it would have had the hammer that kind of looks like that, right? And then the sickle that kind of looks like that. Now I don't have the picture perfectly in my head of the communist symbols, but I know it was something like this. Okay, and then also the space program, so it might even have some kind of a rocket ship like that on the tapestry, like that. Okay, so we have a rocket ship there, and so maybe something like that as well. Okay, so that would be the picture on this Tushkiz. So it's giving us this specific image, this specific picture in our head. Did you get that from this paragraph?
Yes.
Okay, that's what you should see. That's what you should understand from that. Okay. All right. Read one more. So read from These Elegant.
Okay. These elegant tapestries are more than just a wedding gift. They also play an important role in the guest's wedding ceremony. The bride on the wedding day sat in a
Keep going. Just keep going.
Okay, or a certain of area inside a special yard in front of the Tushkiz embroidered by her loved one. The Tushkiz are as a backdrop to the wedding ceremony, symbolizing the union of two individuals as well as two families. Furthermore, it constitutes part of the dowry the bride brings to the marriage, and after the wedding, it takes a special place in the youth house of the newly married couple.
Very good. Okay, a very important tip, Sanantha, and this is for everybody else as well. When you're reading, especially during the real IELTS exam, do not stop for difficult words. So if you can't pronounce the word Kyrgyz or Chimildik, or if you can't pronounce the word embroidered, just read through it. The reason why is if you repeat the word, if you go embroider, then your brain just gets stuck. And now all the information that you're reading is gone out the window. So the trick during the real IELTS is just to read it or kind of almost even skip it, because then you can still get the main idea of the paragraph. As long as you can read most of it, you can still get a clear idea of what the paragraph is about. But if you get stuck on the words and you keep repeating, your brain keeps getting stuck, then you lose the overall meaning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so don't worry about one word. You have to worry about the whole paragraph or the whole sentence, but
Okay.
not one word. Okay, don't worry about so many times. That's the problem that happens, is students worry so much about one word that they lose the sentence or they lose the paragraph. Okay, what is this paragraph about?
A gift for a couple marriage.
The role of the tush kiss during the wedding. So this tush kiss, the way that it participates in the wedding, right? That's kind of what it's about. So you're close. It means that basically when you have the couple, so you have the groom, the man, and let's put a hat on him, so he's the man, and then you have the woman, and here's the woman during the wedding, so we'll give her some long hair or something like that. The tush kiss will be behind them, like that. Okay, so that rocket ship that we had, if it's a 20th century wedding, would be here, like that. Space program with the Soviet sickle and hammer right there. Okay, so it's kind of behind them, like that, during the ceremony. That's what you should see when you're reading this. Okay. Did you see that picture? Did you see this tapestry, like a painting behind the man and the woman while they're getting married?
Okay, but I have never seen.
Neither have I. I've never seen this either. I'm just getting this from the reading. So from reading, for example, the word backdrop. Okay. So all of this information that I just showed you, it's there. The special yurt. A yurt is like their house. It says here, it's like their house. So you have the house like that. Okay, it's like a yurt. You have the couple in front like that. And then you have the tapestry behind them like that. So the author does a good job of describing what this wedding ceremony looks like in this paragraph. If you don't understand that, when you're at home and you're looking at a passage like this, you need to stop, read it again, find new vocabulary that you don't know, get it definition, and you have to stay focused until you can understand that paragraph, okay?
Okay.
All right, it's very important for practice. Thank you, Sanantha, for volunteering and putting yourself out there. I appreciate it. Okay, keep it up.
Thank you so much, sir.
Keep watching. Okay, bye, Sanantha.
Bye.
All right, so that was Sanantha. We've got Jose here and a little bit more to read. So Jose, are you ready? Hopefully you hung in there and you're ready to read more of the paragraph. Cicerani, I see you there as well. Don't go anywhere because there's still questions to be answered. So we're going to keep going here. Okay, Jose, if you're still with us, give me a sign. Here we go. Alexander's space program was 2 paragraphs before when I was talking about the Soviets. Okay. Jose.
Can you hear me? Good morning.
Hi, Jose. I can hear you. You sound a little bit distant. Good afternoon, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, sir?
I am doing fantastic, especially now that I know about the Kyrgyz culture a little bit more. Jose, let's do a little bit of reading. Are you ready?
Yes, of course.
All right. So whenever you are ready, start from the Tushkiz themselves.
Fine. The Toshkis themselves are quite large. In general, they measure approximately 6 feet tall by 12 feet wide, or about 2 meters tall by 3 meters wide. Notable, Notably, they are almost always highlighted by orange or red tones, including the outer edge, which is generally a solid color as opposed to the diverse color palette and intricate pattern details of the interior of the tapestry. One interesting aspect of the Tushkis is that the outer border traces only three of the four sides of the fabric. The bottom side is borderless. The reason for this is based in the tapestry's ceremonial aspect. The Tuskis is not primarily a piece of art, though it is certainly beautiful and worthy of aesthetic appreciation. Rather, its primary purpose is a framing of the bride and then the married couple there is the body and especially the head of the bride and eventually the groom are an integral part of the Tuskis. The fabric itself acts as the cultural foundation for the couple. It is literally and figuratively their background. It is where they come from and who they are. And yet they sit facing outward from the tapestry as if their background does not define their future. Their
Very
future, sorry.
nice. Very nice. Nice reading. Okay, perfect. Again, that speed is just fine. You can get a nice high band score, 7, 8, even a 9 with that speed as long as you understand what you're reading. What was this paragraph about, Jose?
Well, I think that they are describing the Tuskis.
What specifically about the Tushkas are they describing here?
I mean, what it means for the couple.
Yeah, the purpose, right? So simply put, the
Yeah.
purpose of the Tushkas. And what is that purpose? So according to the author, according to this paragraph, what is the purpose of the Tushkas? Is it an art piece? Like, is it just, a beautiful piece of art that says, hey, here's a beautiful piece of art?
No, it isn't. It has a meaning for the couple.
What is it? So what is that purpose?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Fair enough. Oh, it's an honest answer.
I mean, I read a lot. It was pretty long.
Yeah, it was pretty long, and it's very visual, so you have to visualize it, right? There was this one part here that was quite important. It talks about the borders, right? So here the author spends a bit of time talking about the outer border traces only three of the four sides, and it says that the Tushkiz, although it's a beautiful piece of art. It says the primary purpose. Anytime you see this word purpose, pay special attention to it because it's it means the goal. So rather, its primary purpose is framing of the bride and then the married couple. So again, if you're visually picturing this, you see that this is kind of like a picture frame for the couple. So it has these three borders, but no border on the bottom here, right? So when the couple are in front of this, so here's the man, here's the woman. I'm purposefully drawing some bigger just heads right now. So here's the man and here's the woman. Imagine kind of like when you're at a photo shoot, right? And there's a background here. So this is kind of like their background. It's like they're in the picture, but they are in front of the picture. So they're going forward in time, away, making new history, right? So this Tushkiz is like their picture frame. They are the focus of that picture frame, okay? So that's what the author is telling you in this passage. Okay, but you're good. You got most of the main idea, and that should be enough to get most of the scores in the questions, okay? All right, Jose, thank you for reading. We've got a little bit more to go, and then we're into the questions. So keep watching, and you'll soon learn what these answers are, okay, Jose?
Sure, it's a pleasure. Thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
bye for now. Okay, that was Jose, also coming back regularly. Excellent. Cisarani, let's see if you are ready. So are you ready? Cisarani. Yeah, so Tech World says it's kind of like a border for the couple, right? Very good. Exactly. It's like a border. Cisarani says, yes, I'm ready. Very nice.
Sir.
Hi, Cicerani. How are you?
I'm good, not bad, not good.
So-so. Keep it simple. You're so-so. Or
Sorry.
I'm doing okay. Usually we say I'm doing okay or I'm so-so. All right.
I'm doing okay.
All right, Cicerani, I've got a little bit of feedback, so make sure you're keeping your microphone away from other electronic objects. Okay, Cicerani, can you read from here due to their personal nature? Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Yes, I can read it clear.
Go for it.
Due to their personal nature, Tuskies are not often bought and sold. Instead, they take on the role of family heirloom, something to be treasured. Sadly, it seems in recent years the tradition of the Tuskies is falling out of practice in Kyrgyzstan. The effects of globalization and urbanization have eroded the impact of traditional cultural practices. Today, the tradition of the Tuskies is continued primarily in the ever-shrinking rural communities of Kyrgyzstan. While big cities may offer economic prosperity, it is also important to remember where one comes from. If we only look forward, we miss the rich cultural tapestry lying behind us, figuratively or literally.
Very good. Okay, what is this paragraph about?
The paragraph tells about natural personnel of Tuskies.
Can you say that one more time?
This tells about personal nature of Tuskies.
I can't hear the second or third word that you're using correctly, which is the key word. So it tells us what about the Tushkiz?
It's about personal nature of Tuskies.
Personal nature?
Yeah, maybe.
Not so much, I don't think. Okay, so let's take a different approach. This is the last paragraph, right? So this last paragraph is what in the essay or in the passage? It's the conclusion, right? So
Yeah, right.
the author is concluding the information here. And the author is talking about it as an heirloom. We don't say heirloom, it's an heirloom. The H-E-I-R is pronounced as air, like A-I-R, heirloom. Okay?
Heirloom.
So it's
Without
an
H.
yes, exactly. So it's an heirloom, and then it talks about globalization, urbanization, shrinking rural communities in Kyrgyzstan. So what is it really talking about?
He's talking about
The modern time Tushkiz situation, right? It's saying that the Tushkiz is disappearing from culture in modern days. Okay, that's kind of the focus of this. So it's saying the Tushkiz is disappearing, but it should be important to keep these traditions alive. That's what the author is trying to say here. So I think you should understand this, because I have a feeling that you do understand most of the words here. So really try to pay attention to that key content of the ever-shrinking rural communities. It's falling out of practice. So pay attention to those pieces, okay? Really
Okay,
focus.
sir.
All right. Thank you so much for reading. Hang in there. We're going to answer the questions, Cicerani, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.
All right. So let's answer some questions, and I'm going to get into these myself, and then we'll open this up for the chat to help me with the questions today. All right, let's do this. So let's get into it. Number 28. We've got 15 minutes to answer the questions, which should be lots of time, okay? Now, in the real IELTS exam, you should have about 10 to 12 minutes to answer the questions after you read the passage. Thank you to all of the readers, by the way. You all did a wonderful job. So I'm doing a clap today for everybody. I'll do a thumbs up as well. So thank you, Sisarani, Brajesh, Baljit, Jose, all of our other readers, Sanantha. Thank you for reading. That was fantastic. You're all lovely people. Okay, thumbs up to you. All right, so let's look at this. Number 28. Now, if you're doing a good job in the reading, you should not have to look at the passage for every answer. Some of these answers should come naturally by understanding the passage. Okay. All right, so let's look at 28. Nations and cultures around the world have something. This should be a noun because it's following the word have, that are carried out at weddings, such as breaking of the glass at Jewish ceremonies. Now remember that here it is one word only. So what do you think, students? What should be the answer to question 28? Nurilta says customs. Yeah. Customs, I believe they'll take that. Yeah. Customs. And there's probably another word that they'll take. Baljit says traditions. Yeah. And if we go back to the beginning, it says have wedding customs, right? So do use the same word as what is in the passage. Here they're using the word customs, and they use it again here. So use the word customs instead of traditions. But they would probably give it to you for traditions as well, but use customs, okay? So it should be from the passage, so they're specifically looking for word from the passage. Okay, number 29, translated as edges of felt, the tushkiz is generally made by hand and hung on a something. What is it hung on? Okay. Baljit says wall. Okay. A lot of you are saying wall. That's kind of what comes to mind naturally for me as well. Now here I remember the yurt. Okay, the yurt was like the house of the couple. So hung on a wall, hung on a yurt. Now these questions, they go in the order of the passage. Okay, and here we know that the second paragraph talks about this concept. Okay, so let's take a look. So the tushkiz translated as your felt are elaborate wall hangings. Wall hangings. So they're hung on a wall. Yeah, wall is good. Okay, don't overcomplicate. Here's wall. There are elaborate wall hangings, which means that they're hung on a wall. Absolutely. Okay. These answers, the nice thing about these answers is they come in the order of the passage. So they're hung on a wall. So good for those of you who said, yeah, that's wall. I don't need to go back. I remember that. It said hung on a wall. Number 30, a symbol of pride among the Kyrgyz people. Tushkiz are very something objects as they reflect particular interests of the couple and what is meaningful to them. Okay, so very something objects. What kind of words come to mind? Very important objects, very valuable objects, very detailed objects. Okay, so it's going to be an adjective here. Prashanta says very personal objects. And it's good to think about these words like personal, important, valuable, because then I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for reflect particular interests. So again here, if I'm looking at kind of the same paragraph, wall hangings, okay? So tush kids are deeply personal, while in the past these tapestries reflected general social interests. So again, notice how it's kind of like the answers are coming one paragraph after the next in these types of fill in the blank questions. Now that doesn't mean that the answer always comes from the next paragraph. It could be coming from the end of this paragraph, so be careful. But in a lot of IELTS exams, it is kind of like paragraph after paragraph, okay? So the best answer here, according to the passage, is personal. They're very personal objects, right? Now, if you think about this, if you're like, well, Adrian, are you sure? Are you 100% sure that it's personal and it's not valuable or something? Yes, I am. And the reason why is because of this part here. If you look at the part that comes after, so a symbol of pride among Kyrgyz people, tush-kiz are very personal object as they reflect particular interest of the couple and what is meaningful to them. What is meaningful to you and your interest is personal, right? BP is saying personal is wrong, but BP, I guarantee you it's not wrong, because this part is basically a definition of personal. What is meaningful to you and what is your interest is personal. So BB, personal, is not wrong. It's definitely the right answer. We have the definition of that answer in the question. Pay very close attention, students, to these kinds of definitions. This helps you to be sure that the answer is personal. Okay? Does everybody see that? Does everybody see how reflect particular interest of the couple and what is meaningful to them is a definition of a personal object? Do you see that? Okay. All right. Hopefully you do. Okay, so number 31. Another interesting aspect of the tush-kiz is that its symbolism can also reflect something important, such as when they include symbolisms associated with the cotton industry. All right, this one you should not have to look for. I think it's very clear from the question. Okay, Ilham says economic, Minilik says economic. I don't think it's economic. I would not naturally write economic here. Okay, the author explained this, that because the cotton industry is of such economic importance, it becomes something, a part of. That's right, Sunantha. I agree with you. And it's not culture, because you have to think about the adjective here. Okay, cultural importance. So it starts as economic, but then it becomes cultural, right? Now, you can check this if you're not sure, because you have the word cotton industry. Okay, so I'll show you how my mind works. If I'm not sure if it's economic or cultural, if I'm confused by it, I will check. And I remember that examples come at the end of paragraphs, okay? And it's coming in the next one here. And it's here. However, cultural symbolism is still common. For example, imagery associated with the cotton industry is a common theme. Because the cotton industry was of such immense economic importance, it had taken on cultural importance as well. So the main theme here is not economic importance, but it's cultural importance, coming from two parts, cultural here and cultural symbolism. So cultural symbolism, cultural importance. Students, always look for the best answer. If you put economic, you will get it wrong. Economic importance becomes cultural importance. So the contents of the tush-kiz is cultural importance. Okay? All right. So careful. Don't look at the information word by word. You have to look at the overall information. Okay? All right. For decades, the inclusion of the Soviet hammer This is number 32. And sickle symbol was commonplace on Tushkiz. This showed the couples something for the Soviet rulers. Okay, so here I would say the respect, the connection. If I'm not sure 100% here, I would check Soviet rulers. I know it's coming from the next paragraph. Okay, so all right, demonstrate one's support for the Soviet regime. Okay, so respect, close, support, right? Okay, so here the correct answer, couples support for the Soviet rulers. Okay, nice and fast. Winston, Vijaya, very good. The Chimladik is a special area inside the yurt which is hidden behind a something and in front of the tush kiz. This I can search for if I don't remember it because this word is really easy to identify. Okay, so here the bride on the wedding day sits in a chimladik, a curtained off area inside a special yurt. The answer? Very good, Jamsid Beck. Curtain. That's right. See? Smart cookies out there. Inside the yurt, which is hidden behind a curtain. Good for you. Very nice. Chai and Kip. Symphonia got it as well. 34. In addition to its usage as the backdrop for the wedding ceremony, the tushkid also represents a portion of the something brought to the bond by the woman. Now this word is going to be tricky, but if you know it, you can answer it without looking at the passage. But I don't know how to spell it, so I'm going to have to look back. Now, if I don't know how to spell a word, I'm going to check it. So I know that the word is a dowry, and in many cultures, you have this in weddings where the bride brings a dowry. It's like the value that the family gives to the wedding from the bride's side. So it's a dowry, and a lot of you got that. Very nice in the chat. So it's a dowry. It's spelt like that. Again, IELTS does not have spell check, so here I know that it's spelled correctly, but if I don't know, I would find this word and then put in dowry. Okay, so if you don't know the word, you could be in trouble, but then you'd have to search for it. Okay, so dowry. Number 35, commonly orange and red in color, tushkid also include patterns on the inside of the tapestry that are something in their detail. Intricate in their detail, okay? Means lots of little details. This could be a tough one to find if I'm looking for it. So I would look for orange and red in color and look for the concept of detail, okay? So here they're quite large, highlighted by orange and red tones, including the outer edge, solid color, palette, and intricate patterned details. Okay? Intricate patterned details. That's where it is. All right, let's take a look at some multiple choice questions. So when BP, intricate is complicated. So the word intricate means complicated, but you want to use the word from the passage whenever possible. So using intricate is better than using complicated, okay? BB. All right, how many sides of the tushkiz lack a border? So how many sides do not have a border? A, 0, B, 1, C, 3, D, 4. What's the correct answer? Minalik, Prashanth, Nurlita, Shusanta, Flower. Very nice. The correct answer is B. One side, the bottom. Right? Lacks a border. Lack means does not have. Be very careful. Pay attention to the multiple choice. So the sides do not have a border. The passage actually doesn't say that. The passage says 3 of the 4 sides has a border. So they kind of give you the opposite, right? 3 of the 4 sides have a border. So B is the correct answer, right? One side does not have a border. So the best answer here is B. Okay, number 37. What is the main point of the tush kiss? Now, the trick and the final trick to multiple choice, okay, is you have to answer this on your own. So you must answer multiple choice questions on your own first, and then search for the right answer. Okay, so I think Jose, you were doing this, so if you're still with us, you probably know the answer because we talked about it. What is the main point of the tush kiz? Prashantha says it's the foundation. Baljit says it's culturally important. It frames the couple. It frames their past. And it's kind of like the framing, right, of the couple during the wedding. So it's an aesthetic object. No, that's what it said. It's more than just an aesthetic object. It's part of the bride's dowry? Not quite. To be a frame for the newly married pair. The correct answer is C. Why do I know that? Because that's the answer I gave. Ah, there's Jose. Got it. Jose got it. Jose was like, that's C, guys. I read that one. I know about it now. Very good, Jose. Yes, absolutely. It's to be a frame for the newly married pair. That's what it said. It said it's in the background and it's like a picture frame for them during the wedding. That's the main purpose of the okay, Jose's having a good laugh about it as well. Right, when you understand it, right? So it says the main goal of that is to frame the couple, and Jose and I talked about that for like a couple of minutes, so definitely that's what it is. Okay, students, if you're having trouble with this and you're finding these multiple choice questions challenging, read the passage again and again, okay? Practice training your brain to identify information. For a lot of people, the problem isn't reading, it's remembering the information and using the information. And you have to train yourself to that, okay? So question 38, 39, and 40, I will leave these ones for you to answer. So you can see this is 40, this is 38 and 39. You can answer these questions on your own and you can send the answers to my email. I'll show you what that is. This is my email here. And once I have your answers, I will give you the answer key. So I will let you know what those last 3 answers are. I want to challenge you to try it on your own now, okay? So remember, multiple choice. Think about the answer on your own, then choose the right answer, okay? All right, so Adrian at aehelp.com, send me your answers there. Students, all of this practice and videos, strategies are available from our websites, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. So check us out on our websites. They are awesome. We were using academic IELTS for our speaking, and we will use this website in the next class coming up in 25 minutes. So make sure to join. Check out the premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. Same thing on the general IELTS right there. We train so many students and people love the full course and love all the videos they get. So check it out. It doesn't cost a lot and it's a one-time payment for lifetime access. It supports us. It helps us support you. So check that out. Hopefully I will see all of you in the next class coming up in 25 minutes. That will be speaking part 2. We will do a cue card together. We will talk strategy for the cue card, the long part of the speaking section. And some of you will get a chance to practice that part 2 cue card as well. Thank you, Carolina, for moderating the class. Thank you, members, for your support. And thank you, subscribers, for your support. I hope to see all of you in the next class shortly. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria for the next 25 minutes. And then I'll be signing back in and bringing you another live IELTS class. Bye for now.